That's gonna be sad. Oh, I'm sorry, YouTube. This is Maurice Wrong, aka Mr. Wrong, aka the Icon, or you just can call me Mr. Wrong or the Icon. I'm back doing that nasty stuff. I just want to tell you that about the coronavirus again, and I was looking at. I remember when I was driving, I was looking at the Great Depression. And someone told me to look at the Great Depression, and I was looking at all that, and then it's amazing to me that I see that the only way the people that got out of the Great Depression, even the recession, is really the same thing. It was war, and the speck of war to come. It's a war gonna come somewhere. Probably gonna have a war with Russia, and then I hope it's not a World War III type of crazy shit like that, because I don't think we're gonna make it this time. You know, I'm just gonna be 100 with you. And like I told you in the last video that, you know, the Bible never lies. And then this is gonna be the rumor of a war. The only time the greatest president, because I mean, Herbert Hoover was the president when they hit on Herbert Hoover. And then it all started at Wall Street, to be honest, because people just giving up, people just getting rich for no reason. And people just, they buy $1, and then they would come up like about $1,000, and that time it's $1 million to them, and people's coming rich. And then it got so high, it popped, everything dropped. So Herbert Hoover, everybody was homeless and everything, and it's looking like it's doing it again. But everybody was back to the depression, everybody was homeless and everything, and Herbert Hoover said, you know, to fall on his lap, he said, do nothing, and the economy gonna regain itself, which is sometimes it happened, but that time was so devastating, and it didn't happen. So, you know, he got elected out, and then they had Theodore Roosevelt. You know, Theodore, he came with a new idea, and then he started bailing out banks and bailing out farm workers, and he did a lot of stuff that was. He was not perfect, because he did a lot of stuff that was like, you know, people were starving, but he was burning food, talking about we overloaded on food, which just don't make sense when you got people dying and starving and stuff and homeless. But he decided to do that. But it was the New Deal. But that time it did not help blacks, because the New Deal was just trained skilled workers. We was trained still as black folks. We was trained skilled workers due to slavery, but we ain't had the paperwork, because they would, you know, the Jim Crow laws wouldn't give the black folks that, you know, that paperwork. So, you know, that really hindered the black folks and anybody that was foreign. But, you know, the white people, man, they reap the benefits, which is they do now. But only how really they got out of the term, and I think it was the second or third election. Yeah, you know, they made that amendment for him. He could win for the fourth time, but they made that amendment for him on the president going on for 2 elections, and then he went to war, and it got us out the depression. But it's the same thing from George Bush, though. George Bush killed the economy, and then he destroyed the economy, and taxes started going. I mean, everything started going crazy. It was in the recession, and we went to war with Iraq, and then that's how our economy became stable. You know, it's like in Republican eyes. Well, actually, you know, Theodore Roosevelt was a Democrat, but you know, in the Republican eyes, that's like a surefire for re-election, to be honest. And think about from history, you only can learn from history, and think about from George Bush, because I was like 12 years ago, and I was 20, so I really didn't know research. So I just talk about from life experience. He went to war, and that kind of rebuilt from the recession. You go to war because when you go to war, it creates more jobs. Believe it or not, you know, it creates more jobs, and people doing that. It's sad that for our dollars, for us to live in America, people have to die. But that's how America was built. For us, for Christopher Columbus and them, they killed the Indians and all that, taking over territories, kicked out the Spanish, made them go to Mexico and over west, and you know, slave black folks. You know, that's our history, and then we just never really grew from that. We never grew from that. We just know better ways how to use it now. It's really messed up though, but other countries really don't thrive on war, but America really do, and it's really sad because we don't have to kill. We could find a better option, but they said how the old saying, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But we got to step on other people's lives so we can live how we want to live, and a lot of people don't think that way, but I see it. I've been studying that shit since I got in JB Hunt until I got fired JB Hunt, and I'm still studying that shit because history is it's very powerful. Because you're gonna learn a lot, and I learned a lot definitely through Black history, and it's like it is what it is because like the tricks and everything, and the things you see and the things you thought you believe that America's the greatest nation, but when you read its history, it's nothing but death and defiance. You know what I'm saying? We did some as America, we do some great things, but man, the bad things kind of overshadow it because it's kind of sad. And then I don't think the coronavirus gonna have to happen like that, but I'm sitting there looking at my stock market and it's dropping. Faithfully, it's to the point I'm gonna take the rest of my money out of it and it start all over when it drop all the way to the bottom because it's starting to look like that. When I've been investing since 2000, 10 years ago, since 2010, and I was doing that, and it's like it's amazing how things just drop and just dropping. And I said, yeah, this recession. It's the stock market because the stock market runs America. And if I looked at I ain't vote for that woman, Bill Clinton wife, Hillary Clinton, because she's talking about get the people off Wall Street. Yeah, you get them on Wall Street, we ain't gonna have no jobs. If I said, I vote to make my life easier, but I said in the last video that it is what it is, what president do, because the poor and the middle class gonna be fucked regardless. If you think about it, like okay, you vote Democrat, they gonna tax the rich, if they can tax the rich. You know what I'm saying? Because the LLC is protected, but if they can tax the rich, you know what I'm saying, that close more jobs, but just put more pressure on the poor. So while you thinking you having a tax cut, you ain't gonna have no job. Simple as that. Then you got the Republican, and then they gonna tax the poor, so you gonna be taxed, but you still have a job. So it's you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. So I've always said just vote for what makes your life easier. Just don't vote because they Democrat. Just think about their policies and say what their policies. And besides, read their background because I noticed that people say all the right things. People say all the right things just to get in that White House. You know what I'm saying? Then do something completely different. And then they usually do the same thing what they do in their past. They gonna change. If they've been doing that for years, they gonna be still doing it. It is what it is. I mean, nobody gonna just go up and do a 360. The only person that did the same thing what they said was Trump. He said what he did. He said he did whatever. It didn't work out, but he did it. You know what I'm saying? I kind of respect him for that. He kind of fucked up a lot of shit. But I can't say because Barack Obama ain't no saint neither because he spent a lot of time for that healthcare and he could improve a lot of stuff. And you did a lot of time for healthcare, but I can't say no president perfect. And besides, it's not just the president. You got the judicial system, you got the executive branch, you got the legislative branch, you got all of them too. You just can't blame everything on the president because if you pass a bill and this don't get passed, you know what I'm saying? It's like it is what it is. So it's like United States is something else, man. But at least we got that. It's not just a president. It's not a dictatorship. The president, we like to blame everything on the president, but it's not a dictatorship. It's not like Adolf Hitler in Germany and stuff like that. And we blame it on Hitler because he got the falling power on everything he say. We can't just blame the president. We got to blame all of them. I think we just fire everybody and start all over because, ain't no way in the fucking world that I see the Supreme Court, they can't get, they need to have terms of Supreme Court because they just there for life. And then people, the society in this world changes every 6 months. So you got old rules on new laws. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's amazing to me how I look at the thing. Like, man, it's crazy because people just, don't see. But sometimes you got to change some of that stuff, man. I just think you can just kick them all out and start all over. You know what I'm saying? But people just want to prolong this madness, and then start all over. It's gonna be hard because you start the whole country over. That means we weak. You got no self-defense, so people gonna try to take over that. People try to conquer on weakness. You know what I'm saying? We should not do that, but people do that. That's how people is. They see your weakness and they target it. So we really need to. I don't know what we need to do, to be honest, but we all do need to band together as Americans. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna put the past in the past. I saw on Facebook, man, one time that's really kind of pissed me the fuck off. That this white dude wrote. It was on Twitter. They shared that on Facebook. Now it's like going viral, making that white boy money. He said that I never been slaves, and he never been a slave master, so let the past be the past. No, can't do that because you repping the benefits of my ancestors. So once you stop repping the benefits, maybe I could put in the past, but I can't put in the past because how brutal you did my ancestors. And then that's like me spitting on somebody. That's like telling a Jewish person that went through the concentration camps and just say, forget about it, move on. It's okay. You're okay now. You know what I'm saying? That's like telling the Jewish or their grandchildren, their new children, and the future children, like, oh, it's okay. You ain't never been a slave. This is your grandparents. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You okay though? That's the same shit, man. Or just telling a Mexican how crucified whatever they past is, and tell them to forget about it. That's the same thing. You don't tell no black person that shit, man. That's crazy. I'm never gonna forget slavery. I'm never gonna forget Jim Crow. I'm never gonna forget it. And I'm gonna tell them, starting to my kids, and I'm starting to every kid I see, every black kid I see, and tell them, don't forget your past. But just because you're here and you're going to school and you sit in front of the bus and you're not sitting in the back of you're not walking to the back of the school and all that stuff, and you're going to the same school with these white people, you don't forget your history. People died to get us here, and I refuse. W.E.B. Du Bois and I.B.B. Wells and Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, people like that. I'm not gonna forget y'all. I'm not. And since I got this YouTube platform and I got a little bit of subscribers and little people that's under my belt, I'm gonna use this platform as the best of my abilities and tell you, don't forget your heritage. I don't give a fuck you red, blue, or black, white. I don't care what you is, Indian, Arabic, black, African American, Mexicans. I don't care what you is. Don't forget your heritage, man. Hold pride to your heritage because that's all as a race. That's all we got. But in the same token, once I said that though, we do got to band together. But don't forget your heritage. But we do got to band together and work things out. You know what I'm saying? We got to know our limits. You know what I'm saying? This is Mexicans. This is your limits. I won't respect your limits. You know what I'm saying? As a human being, because you are a human being. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, but as American, we got to band together. We got to do better. Love you guys.